Okay, so we're setting up for a headshot session, and I want to set up my lights ahead of time so that I'm ready when they get here. Now, I realize that each person is different, and I'm gonna want to modify the lights. Like the hair light, I will need to modify if they have blonde hair or if they have dark hair. And then if I have them seated or standing, that's going to determine where my light is. If I want broad or short light, whichever side their part is on, all those things are going to need modification. But if I set everything up as best I can beforehand, it makes it less time setting up after they get here, and I can concentrate on connecting with them. So typically, I'm going to set up my fill light behind the camera. So right back there is a strip light that lights up the whole scene, and that gives me a good exposure on the shadow side of the face. Then I have my main light over to the right, and I may move it to the left, but typically I want it about 45 degrees from my subject's face. And of course the hair light, I want it back far enough that it's not getting on my nose, and all these things can be adjusted once my subject is here, but I want to get it pretty close. So typically, what I'll do is I'll set it up so my fill light and my main light are at the same exposure. Not the same power, because one's close and one's far, but I want them to put out the same amount of light. So my main light is lighting just this side of the face. My fill light is lighting both sides. So that gives me a 2-to-1 ratio, fairly conservative. And this side, the shadow side, will get 1 unit of light. This side, the highlight side, will get 2 units of light. There's my 2-to-1 ratio. And both of them are outputting the same amount of light. So that's a great place to start. If I want it a little bit more dramatic, I'll turn down the fill so my shadow's a little darker. Or I can turn up my main. The nice thing I love about these lights, they're continuous lights for one thing. That's why you can see it on video. And they're infinitely variable, and they're so bright. I don't have to worry about the amount of light. This one's actually on half power, and I'm shooting at 200 ISO. So most continuous lights are not that bright, but the Nan lights, amazing. Totally love them. So I'm going to be able to modify the power on my hair light depending on if they have light hair or dark hair, and the angle, of course. And but I'm going to do all that once my client is here. It's also important to do a custom white balance. So I typically, where's my chair? I always have a tall chair like this because I like to photograph people standing too. Everybody looks taller and leaner when they're standing, and just leaning like this is great. So I use this chair a lot, not only for sitting, but also leaning. And it's great for custom white balance because all I need to do is that, and it holds my target for me so I can do it by myself. It's super easy.